Hi everyone, Rick here. This is probably about the 20th take I've done on this video, and most of the time it's because it's been too long because I rambled like I'm doing right now. I need to be short and concise and to the point. That is what the Holy Spirit has been telling me. Here I go. I'm going to be talking about free will versus predestination. They're one and the same, actually. They're not two separate doctrines. They all blend together in that perfect salvation that God has to reunite himself with his creation through Jesus Christ, through mankind. What it is we can only serve one master. Either the prince of this world, which is Satan, through our worldliness, or we can serve Jesus Christ, the desires of the Father, in perfect submission and righteousness. And we will make our choices based off of those two, whichever one we serve. We can't serve both of them. And many Christians try. That in essence, well, that's not in essence. I haven't finished the explanation yet. I'm trying to make this short, and in doing so I'm messing up, okay? So what we have here is predestination, where we're called. You have three parts. You have a called, you have the chosen, and you have those who are not called. Those who are not called are not called. Okay, God had created them to glorify him in whatever way in position he put him in to glorify him, just like he did with Pharaoh. Now some will say, well, that's not fair. Why does God find fault and condemn them if he made them that way, that they'll never come to him? Well, Paul answers that in Romans. He says, who are we to judge God? We're just his creation. How can we tell the creator of the whole universe what he should or shouldn't do with those things he created? They're all part of a perfect plan. All right? So I'm going to focus on the called and the chosen here. Now, I was called 50 years ago. I didn't answer a call 10 years ago. I could have easily been lumped into the uncalled a long time ago if somebody wanted to. But frankly, we don't know. It's not our business to know. That's why we treat everyone with love, as brothers and sisters. And those in the church, those who are called by faith. That's how we're saved, by faith, not by works. We don't choose to answer the call. We answer the call because faith in us that was given to us by God convicts us and persuades us spiritually. And we hear that voice and we follow his voice, just like in that parable I mentioned in John. The parable of the sheep pen, where the gate is open and the sheep follow his voice. We answer that call, but then we have to run the race. Just because we answer the call does not mean we're in heaven. A lot of Christians think that we're there, we're saved. Whew, thank God. No. Jesus said, many are called, few are chosen, and you can't serve two masters. You can only serve one. But most in the church try to serve the world at the same time they're trying to serve God. And they've somehow convinced themselves they're doing both, and they're serving God in totality. And as a result, their direction toward Christ has lost its focus, and they're not drawing closer to Christ. And that's what he wants us to do. When we're called, we're put through the trials, we're put through the tests so that we can draw closer to him. We will make our choices based on the master whom we serve, either the world or the righteous Father. One of the two. We serve one of the two. We don't serve both of them. To make a distinction between the two is to be judgment, to pass a judgment. And it is a passive form of hatred. We're not loving God if we're making a distinction between him and the world. Even if we think we love God, but we're living in our hearts in the world, we are hating God. We're not loving him. And as a result, we're going to hate our brothers and sisters and pass that judgment on our brothers and sisters. So we go through this trial and this race and we draw closer. The closer we draw toward God, the more we'll draw away from the world. The closer we draw toward Christ, the more we can separate and divorce ourselves from those things in our hearts that the Holy Spirit shows up. The more we draw toward Christ, the more we can make our decisions, our free will decisions, based on his desires in us, and the easier it'll be to do so. But we are predestined and called of God. But that does not mean we are predestined and chosen. The chosen comes in the end, when Christ returns and we finish that race. Don't enter the race to run it and then drop out. Jesus said no builder starts to build a building without measuring the cost first to see if they have enough money and materials to do it. Don't enter that race without understanding what it takes to finish that race. Because we have to finish it in order to be completed in our salvation at the time of resurrection. Until next time, God bless.